Hey, this is Sebastian, socialanxietysolutions.com. We're opening the Social Confidence Club in a couple of weeks. Mid-February is that going to be? And I thought that would be interesting to have a chat with one of the former members and check in to see if the results that he reported on are holding up, how he's doing, and have a bit of a general chat about the journey and throw him some things that I've read in the Social Confidence Challenge that's currently going on. So here we are. Brent, welcome. Thanks for doing this.
No problem.
How's it going? Everything good?
Everything is, well, like we were just talking about, things are neither good nor bad. They just are what they are.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's interesting times.
Yeah. No, but I mean, in the general, like if you're asking, how is everything in terms of social anxiety? Yeah, it's fantastic. It's great. Could be better.
Nice. So results have held up then.
I don't know. It potentially could be better. I'm getting better and better as I go. So.
Mm-hmm. So there's no regression, and it doesn't all of a sudden come back then.
Yeah, I don't know. How do I say that? Yeah, no, there's no regression. It's continuous, like moving forward. There's ups and downs and peaks and valleys along the way. But that's life. There's, certainly subclinical levels of anxiety that I think anybody experiences. But no, I mean, I just handle those dips pretty smoothly. And yeah, it's like I reached some point where, that journey that you described where you're kind of climbing the mountain. I reached some point where I think I got high enough up the mountain that I could start kind of like skiing down the mountain and going, there's just a whole mountain range out there. So there's just different journeys, different adventures after that. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, I think.
Good. Yeah. We'll talk more about where you're at, but before we're going to talk about that, I'll tell you what I read in a comment that was made in the Social Confidence Challenge on day whatever. I asked people, okay, here are 10 testimonials of different people that you can go check out, so you can see that other people have made a transformation, and it will inspire you and it will give you hope, most likely, because you can relate to these people and so on and so forth. And then once you've watched one of these interviews, write a comment underneath this video here where you see me talking. And so I scrolled through the comments, and one comment, and I've heard this before, was like, well, I watched Brent's interview. Actually, watching the interview gave me anxiety because it's so far outside of what I see for myself as possible that that it just seems unrealistic to me.
Yeah.
What would you say to that?
I would say, oh man, I feel that person. Like I really, truly do feel that. I feel like, I don't know how to, this has been a struggle for me. I knew, I kind of knew that, like when I started getting the results, I actually started getting worried. And this worry like stuck with me for a while. The worry was that I'm now going to come across so confident and so comfortable in myself that people aren't going to believe that I actually went through the exact same thing that they went through. Like they're just not going to believe it.
Yeah, right.
Because it's so. Because I remember thinking the exact same thing. I remember thinking when I watched your videos of you, I didn't believe it because I was like, "There's no way this guy has had social anxiety like me." There's no way, because you came across very confident and speaking, fluidly, and you were talking about your social life being normal.
Right.
And so, yeah, man, I had a lot of fear. I had a lot of doubt. I had a lot of doubt too, going into it. So, oh man, I don't know what to say to that person.
It's hard, huh? Yeah.
Really challenging but it was like, yeah, I mean, it looks like it. I think actually one thing that I started, one perceptual shift I think I made was that, that and I think you talk about this a lot in the course in the 30-day challenge, is that it is just it's that quote that like, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. And so it's just about those, like you can't, your brain, I think, is not meant to be able to process these major, hurdles. Like you look up way up at the mountain and you're just going to be like, no, I can't do that. And your brain's like kind of designed to be like, no, that's too hard. Don't go there. Just stop. But instead, if you like, instead of looking way up like that, if you just focus on the next ledge, that's 10 steps away, or that's so much easier for your brain to process. Absolutely. So I think at some point I got to the point where I started doing that, where I was like, yeah, I can't think about where Seb is, because Seb's on chapter 150 of his book and I'm on chapter 1 of mine. So I have to all I can do is focus on the next chapter and then trust in the process that it's going to get me there, because I got some good results and from the 30-day challenge. And I just thought, okay, like, it's working. This is working. Okay, now don't focus on the huge monumental goal. Just focus on the next ledge that's there. And then those ledges started getting, like, I started climbing up that mountain fairly quickly after. There was a lot of big shifts that occurred along that journey after the 30-day challenge, and even during the 30-day challenge.
So right. Yeah. I say it's a journey of a lot of little steps. So you take a little bit of a little step, made a bit of progress, and people seem to frequently think it's part of the irrational thinking. It's like black or white thinking. I'm either socially anxious or I'm socially confident, not taking into consideration that there's a huge transformation in between these two states of mind. Decreasing of anxiety, anxiety less long sticking around, your first situation where you no longer feel anxiety, feeling comfortable with a particular person that you felt anxious around all the time, connecting more deeply with people, actually feeling free to be yourself, noticing that you're more at ease. And it's all like a gentle progression that happens over a period of time. It's not like you're here now and then you're there all of a sudden, right? Or did it happen for you overnight?
Exactly. And then the fun part is you get to look back after you've gotten, you've been so, narrow in your thinking, in that you're just focusing on those next steps. Then when you look backwards later, you're like, wow, like even just us talking right now is reminding me of, oh my God, it's been a long journey, and there's been a lot of, look how much progress I've made. That's the fun part. Is you look back down the mountain and you go, oh yeah, I made it a long way. Even if there's still a long way to go, that's fine. You still get to constantly look down the mountain and, see where you've gone. And so that's motivating too.
Right.
So, but yeah.
Question.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, on top, like, I don't know, I don't know how I can prove that I've been where that person, whoever that person is who made that comment. Like, I mean, I've been in your shoes. If that person, whoever is listening to this and is getting anxious, I mean, I literally, I could tell you, I used to go to grocery stores and have beet red, like my face would go beet red because of the anticipation of communicating with the cashier, the teller, or whatever you call it, that just because my thoughts would just go insane, and then I would get embarrassed about a perceived response from that person. So before I even started talking to them, my face would go red, and then I would barely even be able to say the words because my chest would be so tight, and my I'd be so shaky. I would literally be shaking when I was giving them my credit card to pay for groceries at the store. I used to be so terrified leave voicemails on people's answering machines, that I would write down word for word exactly what I was going to say, and then I would read it off the paper. And this is very problematic because like sometimes I wouldn't have the opportunity to write that. Like I remember being in the car one time with my friend, and then I had to call somebody, and I was like, shit, I have to call somebody. First of all, I got to call somebody. That's anxious, it's anxiety provoking enough. Even just being with my friend was anxiety provoking enough. And then there was no response. So I had to leave a voicemail. And so I was terrified. I was like almost sweating. And so I had to leave a message. And it was so ridiculous. Like it didn't even make logical sense, the message that I left, because I was so nervous. So I don't know. I mean, if maybe that gives people some proof that like I've been in your shoes before.
Right. And the interesting thing that you're saying, like, it doesn't make any sense, the message that I leave on the phone. Yes, because your brain is hijacked in that moment. It's in survival mode, and you can't think properly. You know, you can't socialize. You don't have access to your normal capabilities in that moment, because people often judge themselves that they don't have social skills and so on and so forth. And there's a small percentage that might indeed could do with some social skill training, I guess. But the most important thing is just, if you're feeling comfortable and you're okay with saying whatever comes to mind, you don't really need that many social skills. It's just, you need some common sense, and you have that available to you when you're not feeling anxious. If you think about it, when you're around a particular person that you are comfortable with, hoping that you do have a person like that, social ease is just feeling like that around all people.
And I can actually comment on that. For anybody out there who, I actually had at one point in my life, I had no one that I was comfortable around. No one, not even my girlfriend that I had at the time. It was really a dark, deeply dark place for me, because I wasn't comfortable with myself. So nowhere I went could I escape the anxiety. So it was all encompassing. It was my world was caving in on itself. So bad it got. So it was rough.
Mm.
Slowly I made progress, and a lot of progress with your program, being comfortable with myself. And so then I got like a little bit of I was doing this before. I have to be, honest. I was doing work before the program. So I did have some, cracks open in the door, where I was starting to feel a little comfortable in times when I was by myself and not with anybody. So no social interaction. So that was where I started making progress. But then with your program, it like pried that wide open. And then I started becoming more comfortable in these social situations, that's when I really started realizing that this is the real deal, and it was working.
Yeah. And so some of the things that you did before kind of set the stage for the breakthroughs after. Is that how I'm interpreting what you're saying?
I think so. Yeah, because I was doing mindfulness meditation, and I was doing I had done CBT, but and mindfulness meditation was part of the whole cognitive behavioral therapy. So yeah, I can't ignore the benefits of those strategies that I was using before. But it just kind of it just helped me get by. Like that's how I kind of think about it before your program.
My mentor, David Lake, was a psychotherapist and a therapist. He's like, the problem with these kinds of approaches is that they're operating in on a cognitive level, and yes, they help you to function better, but the fear is still there. It doesn't deal with the fear. It doesn't get rid of that fear. And so, you're feeling the fear and you're doing it anyway, and you have a better life quality, but you're still dealing with the fear. And that's, that's my experience as well.
Yeah, it did help with
You
some
think
of
more productively.
but
Yeah. So question that I wanted to ask earlier. So how do you now feel about the lost years?
oh, I don't know. I just tell people I'm making up for lost time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of funny now. I have this other problem where I can't stop talking. Like I talk too much now sometimes. So it's a nice problem to have, but but it's just another problem. So I'm kind of but anyway, yeah, I'm making up for. I just tell myself I'm making up for lost time. And I don't know. I just have a different my perspective now is that it is what it is. It's in the past. All I can do is just focus on the present moment. And I still love that philosophy of just like small baby steps. I now have like very big goals and very big ambitions with my own business and in my personal life and things that I want to do. But I can't focus on those things too much, or else I'll give myself anxiety. So I'll just like I could just focus on these small little milestones and accomplishments and goals along the way. So and whatever happens, it's all good.
Excellent. Yeah, I also asked that question because I wanted to share it for myself. Because this has come up for people, and I also know that other people like Kate, for example, shared it in her interview, which I recently rewatched. Like my social anxiety was very, very bad, and it was very, very bad for a long time. And in those moments, I really, really suffered, and I really looked forward to one day being free of it, one day being able to speak my mind, enjoy interacting, just feel really free, and to have what I saw some other people have, to have friendships, groups of friends, being able to start conversations all over the place, and just really, really being free and liberated. Like I really so looked forward to that, and I craved that at that point. And I was also upset about all that I was missing out on because I saw other people having that. And it cringed and it hurt and it sucked so much because I'm like, I know that underneath, I actually am very different than how I'm currently capable of showing up socially. I knew deep down, this is not really me, this blushing and feeling scared of things, and my heart starting to race for no reason, and all of these problems. That's not really me, and it's super frustrating, and so on. Mm-hmm. And I thought that the upset about the missed years, which were many, because it started when I was 12, and it lasted until in my 20s, late 20s, say. And, I started to resolve the bulk of it in my mid 20s, more or less. But it took years before it finally really left. But I thought that I would be upset about the lost years, but I'm not the least bit upset about it. This is just the past. This is over. It's gone. I'm too busy living in the present and thinking about the future. I like where I'm at, and I'm looking forward to where I'm going. Now, that doesn't mean I'm always in a happy, jolly state. No, of course not. I'm only human, but most of the time, yes. I mean, this is my default. Something can be off, but my default is I enjoy the present moment. I look forward to the future. And I'm not moping around and upset about, all of these lost years. It's also because these years have led to so much personal development and training in self-awareness and coming to understand who I really am. And that right now I just have a very, very rich experience. And I attribute that to having done that inner work in order to get to this place where I am so pleased, bordering on cocky, where I'm so pleased with myself, And it no longer is an arrogant kind of thing, because believe me, I had to work on that a lot too, which is a defense pattern. But to just, like yourself and like being around other people, like connecting with people, and just, enjoy other people, and not be in this competitions like, oh, I'm better than you, you're worse than me, and I got to do this to one up you and make you look bad, so I have this cool status here. Like all that game playing, it's not there. And so I'm just enjoying, I'm just enjoying my life. I'm enjoying my social life. And so I appreciate these shitty years for what they've been. They were what they were, and it's what it is. And
yeah, I was thinking about getting a tattoo actually, and I was gonna, because there's this quote that I really love, and it's no tree can grow to heaven lest its roots reach down through hell. So like I kind of attribute all those years that I struggled as like almost necessary for where I've gotten. I mean, whether that's true or not, I have no idea, but I choose to believe that.
Yeah.
Because I can. And it helps me. That belief is just so strong now that I'm like, yeah, good. Great. Maybe I could have suffered more, and maybe I would have been, further along now. I don't like, you can reframe it that way.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I look at it.
And I just want to say we have a bit of a jolly attitude towards the struggle, and that's not, for me personally at least, that's not because I don't understand or that I don't honor it, or it's just that when you're not in it, for one, that's really nice and liberating, and it's a lot easier to talk about how it was. When you're in the midst of it, it is really, really damn difficult. A bunch of years ago, only like 2 or 3 years ago, I got triggered. I got triggered badly. Now I say I'm anxiety free, right? I've been saying that for years, and that's the general consensus. However, in that scenario, I got triggered, and I got triggered so badly that I'm teaching this already for a decade, and I excused myself from the social situation to go be by myself on my room. This was in Italy, and to just tap and write and try to come to terms with how I was feeling, reminding myself of everything that I've learned. Okay, this is trauma that I'm dealing with. Something got triggered here. This really sucks, but it's just feelings. I can allow these feelings. I can accept these feelings. It's gonna be all right, Seb. Relax. It doesn't matter in the big scheme. Yes, I've acted really weird. Yes, they probably have their thoughts about it, but it doesn't matter. You're not judged by this particular anything and everything I could pull out of the this pretend. I used because it was important for me to hold on. And after an hour and a half of this, I was at least a bit calmer, but still suffering a fair bit. And I went to bed. Next morning, I was nervous to go down and deal with my friends, because we were all staying in one place. And I tapped in the morning, and that I got triggered so badly that for that whole weekend, it got triggered on a Friday. Saturday was still there. It got better, and I tapped, and it got better, and it got smaller and smaller. And on Sunday, when they brought me away with the car, and I stepped into the train, I'm like, thank fucking God that weekend is over. That was so tough. Yeah, it was really tough, and I can't wait to work through the rest of this freaking thing that got triggered in my session with my coach, because man, this is gold. This stuff that got triggered here is really, really big. If it upsets me at this point for 2 days, this is some gold here. But so I really know what suffering is, and I know what it is when you're going through it. So it is really a tough time, but you can work through it. Okay. And there are perspectives, and there are mindsets, and there are attitudes, and there are strategies and techniques that can make your suffering less and less and less. And you can work through the triggers so that you no longer have 57 triggering things, you only have 50 triggering things. That's going to improve your life quality a fair bit. And then you only have 40, and then you only have 30, and then you only have 20, and then you only have 10, and then you hardly get triggered. And every now and then, boom, there's one of the 10 remaining. And then it's like, oh, great, let's work through this one. Now I got even less left, and you get triggered even less frequently. That's the journey. That's the path. And you go through stages, and that's what it is.
And like, I think what you set up is genius, to be honest, because it's just created this like umbrella over people's heads and a safety net underneath them, so that this environment is a social environment, but it's a place that you can then, it's like a laboratory. You can run these experiments or a training center. Like it's training you for the real world. And then what you learn in the group, it translates out into the real world, which is fascinating. Where else can you get that? I mean, that's why I think it worked so well. I mean, the tap, like obviously this tapping is a very powerful technique, and but I think the group setting that you've set up is just like, it's an incredible combination, those two things.
Yeah. I've been surprised by that, the whole community element. I thought, okay, it's going to be great for people to see others transform on screen. I'm going to work with people. They're going to see that. They're going to tap along. It's going to be inspiring to see others make the change. Seeing that's going to help them feel, wow, I can do this too. Wow, I can see that this is working. Because that was how it was for me. Because tapping didn't work for me initially, but I had seen enough practitioners work with people on screen where I saw the change, and I'm like, this is for real. So it's undeniable then that the tapping works when you see it live demonstrated in front of you. So that was one of the big reasons. I thought people can tap along, they can borrow benefits, and we're gonna set it up in such a way that people will be able to connect with each other via the forum. And I think that the WhatsApp group was even created. I think we created that as a backup option to the forum or something. The bonds actually got formed initially by putting a lot of time into it and making it really simple for people. Okay, send a picture of what you're seeing right now, and like we build it up really slowly so that bonds were being formed. What we're now going to do in the new social conference club is we're actually going to offer to make mini WhatsApp support groups, like mini accountability. So we have like maybe 5 or 6 people from the same time zone that are going through the challenge, and they also have their mini group to check in with, keep each other accountable, ask questions. So
that's cool.
we're gonna really leverage that community element. So there is something special about that, because so many people are reporting that. It's like it's nice that there's a place where I can freely speak my mind, and I'm not judged for the fact that I have social anxiety. We're all in the same boat, and we're all supporting each other. And
I think that's where some of the biggest shifts came, when I finally had the courage to participate and be a volunteer in the group and do the live tap, which was terrifying, by the way, like absolutely terrifying, but it just ended up, it was just another milestone in the journey. So I think you got something that where I think people, one thing that I struggled with was I was doubtful when you said, it's a gentle approach, and you can really get somewhere fast. And I thought, well, Steph, how long did it take you? It took you 10 years or whatever, how many years, 12, 15, whatever years. and you spent thousands, $100,000. Okay, well, I can't do that. I can't spend all the money that you spent and all the time that you spent. How do we know that you only got where you got because of all the things that you did? And how are you so confident that this group is gonna do it, and it's significantly cheaper and significantly less time? So I had that skepticism. I'm just a naturally skeptical person.
Sure.
But anyway, I just took a leap of faith, and then when I got in the group, I went, oh yeah, that's why he's taken all of the shit that he did, weeded out 90% of the stuff that didn't work, and now we've got this 10%, and he's created this like group that he wished he had, to be able to support him through the process, because you know about how important it is to have social support and accountability and all this stuff layered into it. So that's why I think it kind of zips you up that mountain a lot quicker than what you did. And even what I did beforehand, I spent, like you were saying, I lost all the years pretty much from 18 to 20, 28, 29 to anxiety and depression, and trying to fight my way through it. And just to piggyback on your point, it was hell. It was really hell. So I really understand people. I don't mean to trivialize and almost make it look like we're laughing at the process or something. I mean, I respect the shit out of it, and I'm very much aware, and sometimes I do also default back into states very similar to that, which it reminds me how difficult it was and how much of a struggle it was. But anyway, I think I wish your program was there when I was 20. Because then I think I could have just skipped, 7-8 years of struggle, to be honest. I truly believe that. I really do. I'm not just, you're not paying me anything to say this. I'm just saying it because I purchased, bought the program and I've got that much value out of it. So
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I told you beforehand we're gonna do this unscripted because I thought that would be a good idea. Keep it quite casual. Well, I think this is a good place to end it.
Yeah. We could go on. But...
Yeah. So first of all, thanks a lot, Brent, for chiming in, sharing some perspective, pimping my club. I'll send you the check later, as agreed. And I want to say that if you're interested in joining the Social Confidence Club, at the moment this interview is released, it's not open yet. We're going to open it in the middle of February. When exactly remains to be announced. But you can go to the early registration list because we're going to have limited availability. We can only serve so many people, and you can go to that early announcement list. You can register to that list by going to bit.ly/social confidence club. It is bit.ly/social confidence club. And I'll talk to you very soon. Thanks for your time, and go there now. Bye.